Picture it. It's the fall of 1914. Ambulances are just churning through fields of mud in France. The air is buzzing with the sound of artillery, and World War I has just exploded across Europe. And right away, medicine is facing this brutal, almost impossible test.
You see, soldiers were being brought into field hospitals just riddled with bullets and shrapnel. But the surgeons, well, they were basically operating blind. They had to rely on just feeling around, guessing where these hidden killers were lodged. And that blindness, it led to horrible infections, thousands upon thousands of amputations, and a truly staggering loss of life.
So that was the question, right? How do you fight an enemy you can't even see? This totally new kind of war demanded a whole new kind of medicine. But it seemed like the tools just weren't there. Or at least, that's what everyone thought. To really get what a game-changer this story is, we have to understand just how bad things were. Back in 1914, the technology for killing people had completely outrun the technology for healing them. It wasn't even close. Now, X-rays were a thing. They had been discovered a little while before, and they were a miracle. They could literally let you see the invisible. But here's the catch. These machines were fragile giants. They were delicate, they were bulky, and they were completely tethered to the electrical grids in big cities, a world away from the mud and the chaos of the front lines where they were so desperately needed. But as German bombs started falling on Paris, one of the most brilliant scientists in the world just refused to stand by and do nothing. For Marie Curie, a two-time Nobel Prize winner, this wasn't some abstract research project anymore. This was about saving her adopted country. And these are her own words. As a Polish immigrant living in France, she felt this incredibly deep sense of duty to act. The same mind that had explored the very building blocks of the universe was now laser-focused on the immediate crisis of saving lives. And she didn't just talk, she acted, and fast. I mean, look at this timeline. In just a few short months, she goes from securing France's entire supply of radium in a bank vault to convincing the government to back her, to deploying her very first mobile X-ray unit. She literally went from being a scientist to the head of a new military medical service, personally driving her invention toward the sound of the guns.
Please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell, share and like our videos. The information in the video is compiled from open sources. Thank you. So Curie's speed was just astonishing, right? But her next challenge was even bigger. How do you turn this radical idea into a physical reality?
Her vision was actually pretty simple. If the soldiers couldn't get to the X-ray machine, then the X-ray machine had to go to the soldiers. But making that happen? Well, that was going to take a stroke of genius and a whole lot of grit.
This was the big one, the showstopper. I mean, X-ray machines need power, and there aren't exactly outlets on the battlefield. The French military bureaucracy was totally skeptical. They thought there's no way this complex, delicate technology has any place in the chaos of war.
But she realized the solution was right there in front of her, the car itself. She had this brilliant idea to fit a dynamo to the car's engine. That meant the vehicle could generate its own electricity. It was this electrical blue spark of ingenuity that made the whole thing possible. The car wasn't just transportation anymore, it was now the power plant.
So she built a fleet of them. She called up wealthy friends and convinced them to donate cars. She got auto body shops to convert them into little vans. And she equipped each one not just with an X-ray machine and a dynamo, but with a mobile darkroom so they could develop the images right there on the spot. The French soldiers started calling them petites Curies, or little Curies.
And what's so incredible is the personal transformation she went through. I mean, to make this work, the Nobel laureate had to give herself a crash course in human anatomy, how to operate an X-ray, and even auto mechanics. She learned how to drive, change tires, and clean carburetors. Absolutely amazing. So, with her little Curies all ready to go, she drove them right into the thick of it, straight to the front lines. And you know who her first assistant was? Her 17-year-old daughter, Irene. The scale of what she built, basically from scratch, is just mind-blowing. On top of the 20 mobile units she personally created, she also oversaw setting up 200 stationary radiology rooms in field hospitals. And to run them all, she trained 150 women as radiological assistants, basically creating a brand new role for women on the front lines. Over the 4 years of the war, her entire network would examine more than 1 million wounded men. Just let that number sink in for a second. More than 1 million. One woman's vision and sheer determination brought life-saving tech to over 1 million soldiers.
And in the process, she completely changed battlefield medicine forever.
But behind that massive number were these individual human moments. You had soldiers who were terrified of this strange new machine, and she would calm them down. This world-famous scientist with this quiet voice and gentle hands would reassure them, "You'll see, it's like a photograph, just as simple as taking a picture."
The war finally ended, and the impact of her work was just undeniable. But her incredible contribution came with a profound and very personal cost.
What happened after the war is, well, it's pretty unbelievable. Despite inventing, building, and running France's entire military radiology service, Marie Curie received zero official recognition from the French government. Nothing. Her daughter Irene got a military medal, but the architect of the whole thing was completely ignored.
But let's be real, her true legacy was never going to be some medal on a uniform. It was the complete transformation of medicine. She made radiology an essential tool, she saved countless lives, and she proved without a doubt that science and that women had a critical place on the battlefield.
And this is where the story takes its final tragic turn. You see, throughout the war, Curie and her assistants worked with almost no protection from the radiation. They knew the risks, and in the end, the very rays that had saved so many other lives were almost certainly the cause of her own death.
For Marie Curie, the answer to that question was pretty clear. It was a price she was absolutely willing to pay, trading her own future to give countless soldiers a future of their own.